how to date women. That's the question we're going to try to answer in this video based on the tips and tricks shared in this book, The Art of Seduction. But before we break them down, I would like you to know one thing. No, there are two things you need to know. Three things instead. The first thing is that the guy who wrote the book looks like this. Despite his looking, the guy obviously knows what he's talking about because there are like so many tips and tricks shared in the book. Which brings me to the second thing I wanted you to know. Since the book has so many tips to share, I simply decided to divide them into two sections. The relevant tips that little by little aim to help you date women. And the completely what the fuck tips that, if used the right way, can help you date fast, but if used the wrong way, can screw you. So stick to the hand because you're gonna discover the game changers tips that can literally help you date faster. Which brings us to the third point I wanted you to know before we get started, which is that the tips and advices that are in this book can also help you date even though you have never dated a girl before. So let's get started with the completely relevant tips that are going to help you date. Tip number one, choose the right victim. If you are a student living and sharing his room with his little brother, don't try to date a girl who has 50,000 followers on Instagram. So the starting point is for you to choose the one who is likely to love you just like you are. Number two, don't be direct. We know you want to date the girl, but avoid being too direct. When you introduce yourself to the girl you want to date, introduce yourself as a friend, not the guy who wants to date her. Trick number three, send mixed signals. When you notice the person becomes friendly with you, she answers your messages, she cares about you, change things. The book says, what is obvious may grab attention, but the person will lose this interest when they understand and know who you are. For you to keep the person interested in long term, there has to have things about you that the other person does not know. You have to have your own secrets. Basically, give and show love to the person you want to date, but make sure you're not doing too much. Tip number four, trigger desire. Nobody wants to be the girlfriend of a guy nobody wants. So for you to fix and avoid this situation, you have to show to the girl you want to date that you actually have people you hang up with. Of course, these people have to be girls. These people don't have to be real friends. Even your sisters can help. Use the power of words. You have to create this kind of habit to tell to the one you want to date words they want to hear. If she likes music, talk about music with her. If she likes movies, talk about movies with her. If what she likes is dolls and things like that, you have to be willing to talk about them. Of course, you don't have to become really interested in what she's showing, but just to show them. The next thing is to pay attention to details. Everybody likes sweet and kind people. But if you are too kind and too sweet with her, she's gonna become suspicious. So give, but don't give too much. These are basically the points that are gonna help you date. Now let's move on and see these what the fuck points that are gonna help you date but faster. Point number one, mixed pleasure and pain. The book says the biggest mistake in seduction is to be too nice. When you are too nice to a person, you appear insecure, and that does not help the person to visualize themselves with you. So you have to piss them off and do the things that are gonna make them go crazy. Point number two, give them the space. Sometimes you have to disappear and give no news for a while. Ignore her, ignore their calls, and then reappear. But there are two things that you risk doing this. When you disappear and make that she cannot have you, you don't have her either. So you miss her and she misses you too. And the second thing is that when you disappear, chances are when you reappear, find somebody else who has took your place and replaced you. And this is not gonna be pleasant. And the last point, be a bad boy. There is a reason why girls like bad boys. So make the girl discover her dark side. Be the one who leads her to do the things she's never tried before. Of course, these tips work better if the girl we're talking to is somebody you just met the day before in a nightclub. But if we're talking about a girl who has never talked to a person before, if you do these things, you're just gonna be classified as a dangerous man she has to keep herself away from. Now you basically got the tips that are gonna help you date a girl. At least those I understood. Now the things for you to do is to try to practice. And for you to practice, you also need to learn public speaking. Hopefully, I'm actually preparing a video on public speaking. that I'm gonna post next Wednesday. So make sure to subscribe to this channel for not missing out, and I will see you on Wednesday in a new video. Bye bye.